Today I'm going to show you a few exercises on how to prepare yourself for your splits. So for this you might want to make sure the mat you're using is supported, because we're going to use some exercises where the knee's going to be onto the mat, and to make sure you're not harming your joints, you want to make sure you have some support. You can either double up the mat or you want to take even two. So for this practice, we're slowly going to get started. Allow yourself to gently come into our first opening. We're just going to get started with a gentle tabletop. From here, you want to place the toes and lift up for your first down dog. This allows you to pedal out the legs, allowing yourself just to bend one knee at a time as you start lengthening through spine, arms, but also starting to feel into the back of the legs. Well, we need to wake up today so you can go smoother into your split preparation. All right, I would like you to come back onto your knees, and first thing, we're gonna wake up through our toes. If you have a tennis ball, feel free also to massage the feet. So you wanna allow yourself just to connect a tiny bit into the soles of the feet. That helps you to wake up the entire posterior chain. I like to do that because I really do see the difference working on the feet, soles of the feet or not. Okay, once you've done that, you can do the other one. This is almost like reflexology. Give yourself a gentle massage here. All right, another drill that I really enjoy and that I really like doing is actually taking the opposite hand into the opposite foot. So what you want to do is place the fingers all the way up to your knuckles into the toes. So if you can either lift the foot up a tiny bit or even place it onto your other knee and allowing yourself just to move slightly through. It's possible that you might feel a cramp if it's the first time you're doing this. So just take it gentle, and for your next break, maybe have a banana to fill up that potassium. Okay, and we're gonna do the opposite. All right, allow yourself then to place the opposite fingers into the opposite toes, allowing yourself to place the foot either on top of your knee or just lifting it up slightly. As you can, start rotating over onto one side and then over onto the opposite. All right, so this wakes up a tiny bit through the foot. Now we're going to go deeper into your toe crackers. So you want to allow yourself to place the toes, lifting up and gently pressing back the weight towards your heels. So you start feeling the opening of the soles and especially of the toes. This might feel uncomfortable, so be gentle. If this feels too much, you can press the hands in front of you. This is a way, so we're slowly waking up all the posterior chain from the toes. So it's maybe a little atypical, but I like to do that because you will see the length actually throughout the practice. All right, and gently release. All right, from here slowly we're gonna get started to wake up a tiny bit further through posterior chain, calf muscle, hamstrings. So for this, once again, slowly make your way into your down dog and pedal it out. All right, you want to lengthen, and from here I invite you just to walk forwards, allowing yourself to hang heavy, hands into your opposite elbows, allowing to hang completely, starting to feel into that gentle dangling. You can say yes and no with the head, allowing yourself to release completely. Starting to feel that opening. Allow maybe the arms to hang heavy onto the sides. And from here I always advise you to take a block. So what we're going to do here is place the balls of the feet, so not only the toes but the balls of the feet, onto the edge of the block, allowing yourself to go deeper into especially that calf muscle. You will feel the length here. So allow yourself, once again, releasing, allowing yourself to let go. Say yes and no with the head. All right, so starting to wake up. You can shift the weight slightly back and forth, so you will see that the more you push forwards, the more you will deepen into the calf muscle. All right, from here gently release. I also like to wake up a tiny bit through that other hip opening. So we'll not work onto your frog, neither your opening into the middle split, but we're gonna work onto the regular split today, though it feels really good. So hands back, hips up, And from here, slowly you can come back into your tabletop. All right, so I like to start this one we're gonna get started with the left foot, placing it in front of you and allowing yourself just to shift forward. Why did I mention the mat? Because here you're gonna start pressing the knee already down. So if this feels too strong, I always invite you either to double up the mat. I'm already using 2 here. You can use the strength of the back foot. The more you press backwards, the more you will lift off the tension off the knee and allow to even deepen into this posture. You can stay here, hands onto your knee, allowing yourself to deepen. So coming into your Asvasanchalanasana. And from here, we're going to make it a tiny bit more fluid as you come back into your Ardha Hanumasana. So a half split already. Here, into this position, I invite you to keep the hips squared. For this, if you have 2 blocks, keep them close to you. So this will allow you to actually go deeper without shifting the position of the hips. You will notice already the back of my, the rounding of my spine. So I want to avoid that, allowing to lift, making sure I keep the leg active so the toes point to me. And I want to wake my waist gently forwards and down. So this is my first, set of movements today. So I feel quite stiff. So just taking it slowly to feel into the pose. All right, gently making our way forwards again. So you release the blocks and come forwards. Shifting the weight. And again. So take a moment to really feel. Sometimes it helps as you go into feeling your hip bone and shifting it squared in such a way that you want to lengthen first, allowing yourself to gently make your way back. There, controlled, you can place the fingertips, hands, palms onto your block. Don't try to rely too much. They're just supporting your balance as the focus is here on the posterior chain. All right, now we're gonna do this more fluid, making your way forwards and backwards for 5 more. Inhale, open chest, exhaling back. For 3, try now, as you understand the position of your hips, to keep them aligned. Okay. And making your way back. I like to work with the 2 sides, because especially me, the more I improve into one side, the more I tend to go there. So it's very important to work on both sides. Otherwise, you have one split on one side and then not on the other, which is completely normal. We are not completely symmetrical. So allow yourself now to move on to your right leg, coming forward. So slightly knee on top of the ankle. That's a general rule. Make what feels right. Allow the weight to drop. Once again, if you feel the knee, feel free to double up the mat. There's also knee pads. Or you can start pressing the top of the foot over and on top of the mat, lifting a tiny bit the weight off the knee. Remember, the knee joint, it's nothing we need to stretch, it's something we want to protect. Okay, slightly making your way back. Once again, help yourself, maybe bring awareness into the hip bone and bring control towards the toes pointing to you, softly shifting your way forwards and down. All right. Going deeper. Once again, I already noticed myself, I have no mirror here, but I feel the more I round the spine, the less I'm actually working on the posterior chain. That's why we're going to do a set of exercises later, where you only will work onto the leg, especially into the movements as such. Sometimes we tend to round the spine and actually be working onto the lengthening here and not onto the leg. All right, we're just going to go into a few more fluid movements. So making your way forwards and back. If you feel comfortable staying with the hands onto your blocks, do so. And go as far as feels good for you. You can align it with the breath, ideally. Inhaling as you open up the chest and exhaling back. All right, maybe one more here. Exhaling, slowly making your way back. All right. Okay, you can release the blocks into the side, slowly making your way into the ground. We're going to go deeper into that posterior chain. So I will start doing this exercise with the strap. If you don't have a strap at home, a belt can help here. So we're going to get started with Janu Shirshasana. The right foot comes into the left inner thigh. As you prepare, get some flesh out. If you notice that in this position you're already rounding, feel free to take support by the block. You can always lift up a tiny bit. Make it as an uncomfortable stairs where you're just really onto the edge, allowing yourself just to fold over. I ideally would use the prop more into the middle split, but you can use that in this position as well. Ideally here we use the strap so we can support as we place the strap behind the ball of the foot. You want to lengthen through the spine, so this is the reason why we're using it. So basically we create an elongation of our arms, so that allows to deepen from actually an opening as we move from the hips down. So as we inhale, you want to try to shift, make sure the hips are still squared, moving our way down. So inhale, and exhale, you can allow the elbows to move towards the sides. You want to look towards your toes, and your leg is active, so even if you release, actually the toes point to you. Slowly making your way towards that leg. Inhale, bring awareness that we're not rounding too much through the spine. Exhaling, slowly making your way forwards and down. Pressing the knee down, lengthening, inhale. Exhale, deepen. And gently release. All right, we're gonna do this similar exercise, but now we're gonna release the back. How are we gonna do this? We're just gonna come into the middle of the mat, release the back onto the ground. And lift up. You can extend the leg if you wish. And it's gonna feel very similar, but as the back is grounded, there's no need to protect it from rounding. So here you're just gonna push the heel up. So here you wanna make sure the leg is extended. Take as much of the belt as much as you need to. As you press up, the toes point to you and gently gonna push the leg towards you. You're gonna start feeling it onto the calf muscles, maybe hamstrings. And the leg, the right leg, is onto the ground. The elbows can push onto the sides. Make sure your head is grounded, shoulders also pushing towards the ground. So you're not keeping them up, but rather down and relaxed. So I really invite you to do all the warm-up. We don't want to go cold into the posture of splits, into your Hanumasan, because if you go too quick into your splits, it's quite likely that you might tear into a sciatica, which we want to avoid. Exhale, release, which is nice here. I also like to just go and deepen into a side, hand onto your opposite hip, allowing yourself to deepen a slight bit here. Just a few breaths. And gently from here, slowly making your way back through center and letting go. All right. Gently hug your knees into your chest and make your way back into seated, as we're gonna do the same thing onto your opposite leg. So coming once again into Janu Shirshasana. Now the left foot is into the inner thigh and the right foot points to you. I always invite you to get some flesh out so the sitting bones are grounded. And from here you want to take, once again, the strap, place it behind the ball of the foot. As you inhale, you want to lengthen, and as you exhale, slowly make your way down. You can even bring more awareness as you try to push the left knee down, so you're actually allowing yourself to straighten the hip. So it's all about that focus with your body. Take it gently, inhaling, exhaling, allowing yourself to look towards the toes. You don't want to have to look towards the sky. We just want to try to find a gentle line in the spine, neck and head. Inhaling, exhaling deep, and we're going to stay for another 5 deep breaths. You can go closer with your strap. Feel into that posterior chain. Try to activate the leg. This is an active stretch. 4, 3, 4, 2, and we exhale softly, make our way out. All right, same thing, making your way onto the middle of the mat, allowing yourself to release and bring the right foot up. Take the strap behind the ball of the foot and push the heel up, making your way towards your chest. So you want to push towards you, heel up, toes to you, and keep breathing. Feel the back of the leg. It's completely normal. Sometimes the leg would start shaking, so maybe release a tiny bit if that's the case. Just breathe into the pose and remember the exhales are there to deepen. Inhale, maybe lengthen, and exhale, deepen, pushing it slightly a bit further to you. A few more breaths. The longer you stay into those exercises, the longer you allow yourself to lengthen and deepen into the flexibility here. So take as much time as you want to. And from here, take the strap with your right hand, gently shift the foot over to your right side as the left hand can move onto the hip to support that you're not lifting the glutes. We're just allowing ourselves to gently open up towards that side. A few breaths here. And we exhale, gently release, hug the knees, and make your way back through center. All right, from here, now we're gonna deepen into your Paschimottanasana. So ideally, you wanna get started making sure you're well seated again, and taking the strap again behind the balls of the feet. Option here, especially into this position, to use the block, get seated onto it. Another option is to keep the knees bent, or allowing yourself to extend as you wish. Most importantly, you can even start with the arms behind you, lengthening, opening throughout the chest, and then you can help yourself to use the strap. Toes point to you once again. Keep the legs close to you, close together, and inhaling softly, noticing that you're making your way down. Remember, all of our bodies are different. There are occasions where your hip bone might be touching onto the other bone, making it impossible to move on. So sometimes, if you notice that you're practicing this exercise for many times and you're not moving forward, check in. Sometimes you can feel if there's space to move further or not. So inhale and exhale, deepen. I always invite you to breathe through the nose into these practices. Push the knees down if you're on this stage. Otherwise, allow yourself to also make your way down this way with the knees bent or using the block underneath. All right, we're gonna stay here for a few moments. If you wish, I always invite you sometimes to just round through the spine. We are working onto something completely different, but it feels good also to alternate here. So you can release the neck, the head, and rounding through the spine. So you're also waking up that posterior chain, not only from your legs. And then maybe brings back some awareness, allowing to lengthen and deepen here. Ideally, you want to stay for a few moments here. Breathing through the nose, activating the legs. The simple way to notice if you're activating, it's so easy to lose that, is that you actually will see your kneecaps lifting. As you activate, you lift the kneecaps, strengthen, and allow yourself now to go deeper. Otherwise, you're just loosening up, so take that moment to activate. Pushing the knees down, toes to you. The longer you stay, the more you will start feeling it. Try to, especially onto that lower back, to lengthen here. A few more. And exhale, release. All right, maybe you also want to wake up a tiny bit through your ankles. So just rotate onto one side and over onto your opposite. All right, from here, let's come onto our tabletop once again. I like to work a tiny bit into hip rotation. Even though we have a very specific direction into the split, I like to just mobilize a tiny bit. So we're just gonna do a few circles here for hip mobility. And over to the opposite side. This variation you can even do in down dog if you want to strengthen your arms. Exhaling, release, opposite leg. Try to stay neutral with the spine as much as possible. 5 on each side, sounds good to me. Over into your opposite. All right, and gently come back. Maybe you want to move into a soft down dog here, pressing up again. Maybe now you start already feeling the length. So once we're here pedaling it out, maybe now you want to start lengthening through arms and spine, and maybe even pushing the heels towards the ground. I already feel that length, and the heels are moving closer to the mat, much easier. Breathe here, find the alignment. This is such a wonderful pose. And gently release here. All right, slightly make your way into the upcoming postures where we'll need one block. All right, so we started with the left. Let's continue with that one. We're going to push forward, and now we're moving into your lizard pose. So allowing yourself to bring the hands onto the inside. This might be the place where you want to stay today. If you want to make your way slightly deeper, you can take the block and maybe bend through your elbows as you can bring the forearms onto the ground. And push swiftly that, well, not really pushing, just allowing that weight to drop. So this can be even done passively. I sometimes do this practice even into the yin postures, but then you really let go and use enough props to really release. You can connect into this posture more actively, especially when you start feeling the knee. We want no knee pain, so you can press even onto the top of the foot and lift it up so you can deepen here. If this feels right with your block, you might want to even try to place the forearms completely onto the ground. Once you're here, try to bring the elbows in line with your heel, so you're really coming into that deep opening. Once again, if you want to deepen, press into the top of the back foot and lift up. I'm going to stay here for a few breaths. Try to relax the upper body and engage through the back leg, allowing the hips to move further down with each exhale. All right, and as we release here, we're going to press the hands back onto the ground. We're going to shift the left foot slightly outwards, and maybe the inner side lifts up as we bring the left hand onto the left knee and give space between chest and knee to deepen here. Allow to push softly with the hand so you go deeper into an opening. All right, so we're going to stay here for a few moments. Allow yourself to deepen. And now we're going to wake up a tiny bit the back leg. As you can, bend through the knee and gently hold onto the foot. If this feels too much, always option to take the belt. Here, you're going to start waking up the quads, the right quads. Allow yourself to deepen here. As you can push slightly towards you, or bring the foot alongside and maybe to your inner elbow. Breathe into the pose. This is quite intense for the quads, so take it just as far as feels right to you. We don't want to go too far. Exhale, gently release. And now you want to bring the left foot slightly back to the middle as we set back to your Ardha Hanumasan, halfway split, slowly shifting back the weight forwards. You can use this time just the hands, tippy fingers. And any time you also notice rounding through the spine, remember, even if you are not in the 100% of the pose, you are still noticing the back of the leg. If you're rounding, it's also fine. It really depends. There's not such a thing as a super wrong movement. It's just bringing awareness where you feel it, and you will notice the more you lengthen the spine, the more you will activate the back of the leg. If you feel into waking up the body this time, you also want to wake up a tiny bit through the spine. You can even round. There's nothing wrong with that. We are just bringing awareness back into our bodies, so just feel. All right, and then gently make your way back into your tabletop. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing over onto your opposite side. So the right foot makes its way to the front. You want to make sure once you get started you have space to deepen, so the knee will go slightly over your ankle. Otherwise, if you go too far, you're basically in your split already, or if you go too close to you, you will not have enough space to deepen into your lizard. So first thing, hands into your inside of the foot. It feels good just to take a moment here, even if you know that you've done this practice before and you can bring the forearms down. Take just a moment. We are not here to rush. And gently bring the block and explore. You can bring the forearms down. This is my bad side, so it also feels different, and that's completely fine. And gently release. If you want to deepen, onto your forearms directly. Remember, here you can try to align your elbows with your heels, allowing yourself to deepen. And again, here you can use the shift of the weight onto the back of the leg as you maybe extend the back leg. Just for a few moments, you might activate your core as well, deepening for a few moments. And you can release, stay here for a few more. Remember, that's also so much about listening to your own body, to also connect to that intuitive wisdom. All right, exhale, maybe press onto your palms. Shift the weight slightly onto the outside of your right foot. Maybe you want to walk it slightly a bit outwards. And then you're going to bring the right hand onto your right knee. Allow yourself to stay here. It's not an easy sequence, as working onto the hips is usually where we store so much of our emotions and have one of the tensest areas of our body. So be gentle as you move into your splits. All right. If this feels right to you, you can even bend through the back leg. Remember, you want to protect your knee joints, so make sure you have some pads or doubled up the mat. And can hold onto your back foot and feel onto your quads. Stay here, breathe. Try to regulate your breath. Breathing through the nose, bringing the foot closer. And exhale, slowly making your way back. Hands come grounded, release, and bring the right foot closer to the middle as you once again can move on to your halfway split. Feel the back of the legs. And make your way onto your tabletop. Sometimes before coming into splits, I like to wake up not only through the quads, but even a tiny bit through those hip flexors. So you can get seated in between your heels. If this is not available to you, feel free to take a block underneath, as you can lift up a tiny bit and start feeling into your quads. It is not completely necessary, this exercise, but it just feels really good. So I really enjoy it. So you slowly can make your way onto your forearms, especially if you're somebody who runs or walks a lot. This will feel good to you. If you're here and want to deepen, you can even allow your entire back to move back, and if you wish, even bring the arms overhead. Allowing yourself to feel and breathe into the pose for a few moments. Sometimes I just realize how much I really enjoy staying to the poses for longer. But even sometimes you can activate, so it's not necessarily a yin pose, as you can press the knees down and even engage and start feeling the lengthening of the quads. All right, and from here slowly you want to press your hands alongside, make your way out as you make your way in, and gently come back into your tabletop. All right, sometimes it's handy to work a little bit onto your glutes as well. So you can, if you wish, come into your down dog, wiggle it out again. Even if you want to come into a 3-leg dog, you'll feel already that opening. Coming back, maybe over into that opposite leg. And from here, bring that left knee over to your left wrist as you come into a gentle pigeon pose. Well, gentle. You're coming into your pigeon pose. Ekapada Raja Kapotasana, bringing the forearms down if you wish. Notice that you're sinking heavy without clenching the glute down. If you want to, feel free to use props here. Block underneath the left glute. If you have a block or even pillow at home, that feels right. Just a few moments to sink into that sensation. Remember, as the body is so deeply interconnected, even though this is not a necessary posture to prepare for the warm-up, it feels good to enhance a little bit, to take some more time. Okay, then we're gonna change, press into the hands. You can come back into your down dog, and now bring the right knee over to your right wrist. You can always shift the foot, slide a bit forward, but that's also related to your hip mobility and knee joint. So you make your way down, feeling how you feel into that right glute. Shift the weight down, allow this one to be passive. So it's just the weight dropping towards earth. All right, and I think we're slowly getting ready for that split. So slowly make your way back into your down dog. From the down dog, you can lengthen one more time towards your tabletop. And I'd say we can get ready for your split. So you can take your props, your block onto the side if you want to. For me, it's almost more stable as I just keep the hands onto the mat. Make sure you have enough space. And you can use the mat if you're home, maybe onto the carpet, somewhere where you can slide the foot, but also don't want to slide open into tearing any body part here. Okay, slowly make your way forwards. And we can make our way down as far as feels good. Once you're here, help yourself either with the blocks or with the hands to lengthen through the spine. And then you want to be active. So feel into the pose, allowing yourself to lengthen through the spine. Keep the front foot pointing to you and allow yourself to feel into the pose. I'm almost there, so I have a tendency to shift my weight back, and you see that I'm actually not working on the opening. So I always have to train myself to bring the awareness back. You will notice that by the position of the back foot. So I'm gonna shift once again into what is supposed to be the split. And then you can see how the foot is completely pointing down. And you're gonna breathe into the pose for a few moments, allowing yourself to stay here for a few more. And we're gonna exhale and gently release out of the pose. All right. We are celebrating Eid here in Morocco. So we have a little concert in the background. All right, now opposite leg, and we're going into my bad leg, or just opposite leg. Nothing wrong with it. It just needs practice. Remember, practice makes perfect, and allow yourself to slide forwards. There's the option of sliding the back leg or the foreleg. For me, it's easier to slide forwards here, though it would actually be handy to keep something underneath my heel. So maybe I want to make my way slightly back. And once again, try not to open up, but to close the hip. Pressing into the back foot, toes can point to you. Option to point more like on a ballet version or to you. And allowing yourself to find the length. And we're just going to stay here for a few moments. If you feel that feels right, you can even like move up and down a tiny bit, especially here because I have more air. But it's also good just to allow that weight of your body to shift down. And I will not lie that this is not the most comfortable sensation, but that's what we are working on here. Try to connect back to your breath, as in the strong sensations. You can find back the rhythm of a soft breath and soothe the system. Allow yourself to stay. Maybe stay here for another 5 deep breaths. I already feel my legs slightly shaking. And exhale, slowly make your way out. All right, be gentle as you come out. And maybe you want to come seated onto your glutes, bring the legs in front of you. And just paddle, shake it. And I would say this was a safe way to come into your splits. So feel free to try it out at home. I'm happy to hear how your progress is going. And if there's anything you notice that you can add or maybe leave away. So have a beautiful end of your day and sending a big hug and Eid Mubarak from Morocco.